Hello guys, and welcome to another discussion video, and earlier today, Nintendo aired the Animal Crossing Direct. Unfortunately, I couldn't react to it, but there were a lot of really good things revealed here, and that's actually not the only thing that I'm going to talk about here, but there's another thing that's very polarizing and that I have mixed views on, but there are some good aspects of it, and then also some really weird aspects of it. But I'm gonna get into that later. But first up, with the Animal Crossing update, we have Brewster, which is really cool, and that's something that a lot of people have been wanting, myself included. And that's gonna be in there, and basically you can kind of like talk to different Animal Crossing characters, which is really cool. And you could also like invite friends and do different things. So I think that's really nice that they have that. They even have like an Amiibo feature too, which is really cool. And next up, we have a boat tour with Cap'n, and basically he could take you to like a mysterious island, which is really cool. And there's like new types of plant life, and I think that's just really cool since you could basically collect that and take it back to your island and grow it. So I think that's really cool. So it's kind of like the island tours that were already in the game, but with like mysterious plants and different things like that and new types of plants. So I think that's really cool. And I think it also has different seasons too, which is really cool because it showed like one where it was winter, which is really nice. And another thing is gyroids, which is a thing that I've been wanting for a while, and it's they're gonna have like a lot of customizable features, which is really nice, and I'm really glad that they're adding them in the game. And also, Harv's Island is getting an upgrade too, and it's basically kind of gonna be like the city from Animal Crossing City Folk. So basically, um, there's going to be like a bunch of different vendors there, like with the trailers and everything, and there's going to be different characters selling things, and you kind of have to build it up before. So I think that's really cool, and that's one thing that I really wanted. I've really been wanting new shops in the game, even though they're not on the island. Um, like I mean, the island is like already kind of not that big, so I don't think like you could really fit any more shops, especially when there's like 10 houses, different things like that on the island. So, or I guess 8 houses, and then like user houses on there too. So, I guess there really wasn't room to put any more like shops actually on the island, but that does give you an incentive to visit Harv's Island. So that's really cool. And I mean, usually with Harv's Island, there really isn't too much of an incentive to go there, like really only for like the photo thing, but just that most people really don't use that feature. So I think that's really cool that they're actually doing like a marketplace now. And another really interesting thing is cooking, which was actually data mined before. So now we're actually getting like a cooking feature, which is really nice, and it's actually functional and everything. You can grow different crops, and that's really cool. And I'm really excited about that. And then finally they're doing like different upgrades, like more storage, more apps, like on the Nook phone, more like types of houses, stuff like that. And speaking of houses, let's get into the DLC for Animal Crossing New Horizons, which I also think is really cool. And it's actually almost like a whole separate game, because it's kind of like Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, but this time it's called Happy Home Paradise. And basically you kind of have to design like these different houses for the villagers, kind of like Happy Home Designer, but it has like more features like that were from New Horizons, and it's even adding like new features for New Horizons, like soundscapes, polishing, different things like that, which is really cool, like calendars. And I think this looks really cool. It really extends the customizability of houses, since you can actually do it in your own house too. And this just looks really nice. There's like a lot of possibilities with this, and it does look like a pretty fleshed out DLC. And I feel like they could have easily made this its own game. And I'm kind of glad that they actually made it as a part of New Horizons. And this does seem like pretty significant DLC, because it's kind of like how they advertise the DLC for Breath of the Wild and Splatoon 2, so it's kind of like its own thing, which is really nice. And the pricing, I feel like that's pretty good for that, because it does seem like a whole separate game with designing the houses, and it adds a ton of new features to it too. So just overall, the DLC looks really nice, and I think there's also Amiibo features too. And speaking of Amiibo, there's also the new Amiibo Cards, which look really nice, and I'm excited about those. Hopefully they don't sell out too quickly. But now, since we've talked about the Animal Crossing Direct stuff, Nintendo also revealed, kind of like separate from the Direct, they also revealed some Nintendo Switch Online things. And yeah, I kind of feel mixed about this. I mean, on one hand, it's cool that we're getting Nintendo 64 games. I'm really excited about Paper Mario. But $50? That's just way too expensive for, like, Nintendo 64, Sega Genesis, and then Animal Crossing. Well, the thing about Animal Crossing with the DLC, not everyone has Animal Crossing New Horizons. And when most of the value of this expansion pack is for the Happy Home Paradise DLC, that really doesn't make it worth it for the people who don't have Animal Crossing. They really should have done like a discount or something like that. They really should have had the expansion pack at like $10 at most. Because, the thing is with the expansion pack, even though it says $50, I think that's like both the Nintendo Switch Online and the expansion pack. If you're getting just the expansion pack, I believe it's probably going to be like $30. Like, it kind of makes sense. Since if you already have Nintendo Switch Online, I think they're saying you can just buy the expansion pack. So yeah, it's just really not worth it. Like, I mean, I really, really hope Nintendo actually does something where they just have Nintendo 64 or Sega Genesis games separately. Because I really don't know why they decided to put the New Horizons DLC along with this just to jack up the price, when a lot of people are just buying this for Nintendo 64. And it's a really bad business decision too, because a lot of people are going to skip out on it because of the price. For me personally, I'm still buying it, because I'm still excited to play the Nintendo 64 games like Paper Mario, and I was going to get the New Horizons DLC anyway, so it does still kind of work out for me. Like, I mean, it's still a good deal for me personally, since I already have Nintendo Switch Online and Animal Crossing. But for other people, this really is almost a ripoff because of the New Horizons DLC. They really shouldn't have done like a tie-in with that. Like, if the only thing I would justify for the $50 pricing is either if they actually had, like, instead of Animal Crossing Happy Home Paradise, they actually had like a complete game in there that you can download, like let's say Captain Toad or something like that, or a new game coming out that's like $40, or like I wouldn't say $40, maybe like $30. Like, if they had Nintendo 64 or Sega Genesis and like an actual game in there, that might actually be worth it. And then alongside that, they had the Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis that you could purchase separately. Yeah, it's just really scummy and really weird that they're doing this. Like, I'm still excited about the Nintendo 64 games, don't get me wrong. I mean, like, the Mario 64, even though we have that on 3D All-Stars, I do think it's nice that we're getting that. Then also Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart 64, Dr. Mario 64, Majora's Mask, Banjo-Kazooie, and of course Paper Mario, which I'm really excited about. I'm just really excited to play those games, but it's unfortunate that Nintendo's like kind of putting it behind like the Animal Crossing DLC, because not everyone has Animal Crossing New Horizons. Just for me personally, it doesn't affect me too much, but I do feel bad for the other people who don't have Animal Crossing, and it does almost seem like a ripoff for those people. So I just really hope Nintendo does something about this and actually provide more, either provide more in this pack, like put Game Boy games, put GameCube games, maybe even put a free game in here, then it would be justified, or separate the Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis games. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Twitter if you want to. Goodbye!